sparks like flames in the dark. Our journey ignited, our progress stark. The future's waiting, hear its song. In Coolidge, we know the place we belong. We're reaching new heights with every stride, with passion and purpose as our guide. Coolidge skies are open and wide. Together we rise, side by side.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to come out here and listen to the state of the city of Coolidge. We appreciate it. Notice there's a whole bunch of different formats. There's a guy walking around up there right now that had a different format in Casa Grande when he was there. But we do it a little different over here. There. So what we'll do is we'll go through a series of slides. There's also a lot of other information that I have, so I better get with it because I'm doing it. Okay, as you can see, some of the things that we've accomplished in the last year. Industrial and home commercial companies open. You can tell if you couldn't tell that part of the boulevard. We've got miles of roadway reconstructed, preserved, the regional park. Planning continues with commercial corner for sale. I think that corner, the bid is due April 28th. So if anybody in here wants to bid on it, you can get it. Dr. Brenda, I know you guys are interested. Casa Grande Ruins had over 110,000 visitors in week 3. The taxiway C project review at Coolidge Airport is going. Record numbers of kids camp in Casper. I'll touch on that a little. I see some of the people from the schools. I saw Don B down there back there, and thank you for you and Imagine for showing up. Schools are a very important part of our progress here in Coolidge, and they've really made some gigantic gains under the leadership we've had the last 3 or 4 years. Business expanding in Coolidge, including medical providers. New traffic signal, finally. It's Gaza on Highway 87. It took us 5 years, but we kind of got through it. A new Memorial South City entrance. We'll touch on that and many more. Oh, this has always been one of my favorites. It shows you how much money Coolidge gets out of every $100. We get $13 every $100 for the property tax. The college is right behind us at 14, and then you have Pinal County at 31, and the schools get 42. The good news is we've got a lot of schools, so at least they're getting their fair share of the money. As you can see, the property tax rate in Coolidge has steadily declined. That there's more volume, and the value of the properties are going up, so it kind of teeter-totters it down a little bit. Employee raises. Everybody's having a hard time maintaining staff. Well, that's not New York too. But as you can see, 17 and 18 were slow, 18, 19 not bad, and then we dropped again. But the last 4 years, 7, 10, and 5 have picked it back up, put them back in there. We're looking at doing some different things this time. We still haven't decided what we're going to do as far as who's going to get what with the budget. But there's a lot more thought going into it this time. Now that everything's, full-time fire department's there, and a lot of things have changed. So our comprehensive annual financial report, Gabe Garcia and his crew, Finance, done a great job. What is it? The last 14 years, they've got the capital board, and they're going to finish it again, and I'm sure they'll get it again. They've done a pretty good job over there. The run stats on the first department we'll deal with is fire. As you know, we switched over to full-time fire a couple of years ago, and it's really, you're surprised, you really get a look at the volume of work that they were doing as a volunteer department when they were full-time, and they're doing it 24 hours. As you can see, most of their runs are for medical, but fire is one of the smaller percentages, and then hazmat and service calls. A lot of service calls really, they do different things. A lot of times they have to wait for an ambulance to get there, which is a problem that those of us who live in Coolidge and Florence, we have that problem. A lot of people have their own ambulance service and we don't. So their stats will tell you that they're running now pretty hard. So we're going to have to deal with the fire department here pretty quick. The chief, however, has a new command vehicle. Replaced his old 2006. And so one of the reasons we did that is because we now have Coolidge CERT team. And it's quite a CERT team does, it's a response team. And so when our fire or our police go out to a scene where you're going to have to be around for a while, and people are going to get tired and they're going to need some assistance, trying to find victims assistance or, giving our police, fire, or whoever comes to help us in whatever the incident is, water and that kind of thing. That's our CERT team now can get there without any problems. So the chief's new command vehicle, actually, there was a couple of reasons we did it, and that's one of them. So the CERT team could have a vehicle so they could get there. Okay, here's some stats that are very interesting. As you can see, Coolidge is growing. We've got experiencing, okay, well, the fire department had the busiest year on record. We had 3,549 calls for service, which is a 32% increase in the call volume over the last 5-year period. So that is quite a jump. Again, we've gone to 24/7, but that's still a jump in the calls. It goes, in researching for this, you'll see in different places how many populations Coolidge has. One place will list it at 16.7, and one place will list it at 18, and another at 19.5. So, it's anybody's guess, really, in a lot of ways, how many people we really have here. The fire department, has upgraded all its mobile radios to support the new 800 megahertz system, and that was on a Gila River grant. Through an odd-chin grant, they purchased 3 live packs, 35 defibrillators to provide advanced life-saving care of citizens of Coolidge, and they replaced the outdated hazardous gas detection devices with new devices that detect more gases at a wide range of levels, giving our firefighters a safer working environment. So we do put in for a lot of grants. You'll notice our budget is very large, but we don't spend all of it. We never spend all of it because if you don't have your grants included in your budget, if you get them, you can't use them. So you got to include them, and if you don't get them, then it's a wash. There's our police department. You can see that between the 23 and the 24 population, going from almost 16 to 19. So the calls for service actually looks like went down, but the offenses and the NIBR's 776 with the offense 8 group, and based on offenses, the type of offense and the population, looks like we're in 2024 we were down about 31% in those type of crimes, which is good for our citizens. And they do go to a lot of training, and when they're not, doing their job in the field, they are trained, and they are. And anything that we have flock cameras, we have a lot of different things now that other departments are just not getting. And they held their annual game event in October, brings the community together, and the city departments, and gives participants an opportunity to get to know how they function. That's been a pretty good event for us. We've got a lot of people that turn out. Usually it's just slightly over 100 in October, so you still get a lot of people coming out. And the sheriff's department brings their helicopters, and the attack dogs get by people, and everybody loves to see that. So, and if you can run fast, come on. In October, we always use volunteers. There's our new city judge, Judge Thompson, appointed by the city council last year. He's a licensed attorney with a decade of experience, former deputy county attorney and deputy public defender, and he's looking to update the court's operations for better efficiency and service. He's gone in there and done quite a job. You see, 2024, we saw the filing of more than 1,100 new cases. The court is anticipating 2025 to be even busier, with an expectation of more than 1,500 new cases. And this is some of the things that they're doing. And when I go into that, I would say that our city court has some problems. Administrative office of the courts in Phoenix came down and did they did the review 10 years before that, but they came back and cited this for a few things that is a no-no in the court world. And so these are a response to a lot of those things that we needed to correct or improve on. Updated information on the court's website. They now accept credit card payments. It revised the court calendar for better productivity. The courthouse improvements, which are not physical technology more so than physical. We're in the process of deciding what we're going to do for our new courthouse. The one we have is definitely small. For those of you that are newer, nothing but will kill you. That used to be our police department at one time. And we got too small for that. So we're looking to, get a new facility for the courthouse. So our options are, we're leaving them open. And there's a lot of possibilities, but there's one in particular we're looking at right now. Thank you. The library always comes in with a lot of things. A lot of people run through there during the day and at night. I mean, they're always got a lot of people in there. They're always running a lot of programs. They've had a 4% growth in the Wi-Fi usage. The visits are up 4%. At 41,197 people come through the doors last year. The program attendance is almost 7,000. That's a 10% growth. And the total items borrowed are 59,016. It's decreased a little bit, but there's different reasons for that. I can see that the library, I've been to some of their programs. There's a lot of people that show up during the daytime with young children, very young children, and they participate in that. So the library's actually a pretty big player here. They do a lot of things for the community. And then there's the programs. The block party is May 29th, 2025. Come on out. If you don't know how to read, we'll fix you right up. We'll teach you. There's a regional park. For those of you who don't know, we're trying to build a regional park. It's at the corner of Skeleton and what is it, Coolidge, I believe. Yep. And we've sent out. We've got the plans. The plans are done. And now it looks like we're going to be in the process of going out to bid for get the dirt work done. So that one day, I'm hoping it'll be going. We did the archery thing, such as it is, a couple of years ago, and there's always somebody over there shooting up there, practicing. So it's turned out, and it will stay there. It's not going anywhere. This is, did we get two or one? Okay, nice job. The youth center where we had this, I believe last year, there's our old floor. I guess we kind of were rough on it. And now there's our new floor that we just got installed, which I think one of the reasons we're here is because we got the new floor in and they want to let it set up before they bring some big outfits in. Our sports leagues and kids program, which I was going to allude to a minute ago, with our increase in population, that really impacts everything that we do at the city. And I know it does the schools too. I've got a few slides on both public schools and the Imagine schools. But 6% increase in the pool attendance, you know, that we just got a bill not that long ago and already it's filled up every time they open the door for appointments. And I don't know if he's going to do it this year, but we always get complaints because people didn't get it. They don't think they got a fair chance, but you know, there's not much you can do. It's only open so many days a year. And, you know, a lot of people come in and they want to have pool parties. But we have an increase of people. There's just more people. So, kids camp, that went from 120 to 180 kids. And so they actually get to go to the pool some days and they do other things. So they'll get to go, but there's a big increase. So we're going to need more people to help out in the rec department. So I think he's going to have more part-time workers for sure during the summer to help handle these kids. So he's added more summer jobs, the youth sports record high participation. That's I believe in soccer and basketball. I think they're all you know, there's just more children here in Coolidgetown. And I've noticed that when I look at the population figures, I don't know what the numbers I used. You know, about a quarter of our population are students in the school. So the event attendance is up. We have sixth grade movie in the park for a year that they go there. And then 100-year celebrations coming up in September of this year. We'll be 100 years old if we make it that far. Our community services, you know, there's the Coolidge Days parade, and then we have the Christmas light parade. The veterans have a parade, which you know, and so does the chamber. The chamber does Cotton Days and do a pretty good job of it. The airport's had a tremendous increase over the last few years. So the gentlemen from EQ here, they're a big part of it. They've done a lot out there. There's other ones out there. The gun manufacturer and Terry Glass is out there. There's Wynn. There's the sheriff's department's got a pretty big setup now, aviation-wise. They've always got people at the airport. So there's a lot of things happening out there. But right now, if you haven't been out there, that hangar is Wynn Aviation's hangar, and that's a $3 million valuation from the city. And it's supposed to be done in April 2025. I'm not sure. Our airport manager is closer to that than I am, but it will be done shortly thereafter. And I know we've got 2 more coming after that, not for the same outfit, but for different outfits. And they're going to be much bigger than that. Fuel report from the airport. Well, you can see what we sold. Jet A, 17,000 plus gallons. Flowage fees, 240478, so $2,400. Jet A sold in 2024-91, almost 92,000 gallons, and got 31,000 out of that. So that's one of the things about what's going on at the airport. Here's another thing that's going on. Right now, our airport manager is applying for a grant to change things around out there. If you're familiar with our airport, you'll be able to see right up there where the road goes in is the cattle guard, where you come in. So we're putting in for a grant to do a number of things, one of which is to build a building out here for the airport personnel. And as it stands, we're going to put some gates in out there at the airport where you just won't be able to roam around and come in and out anymore. You're gonna have to be, I won't get in car too, you're gonna be one of the big shots to get in out there. But what's happening is we're getting so many, there's so many businesses out there now, and they've got so much equipment, and so many things that are valuable that we can't just leave it out there unguarded now. So we're gonna have to start to take some steps to close it off a little bit, and that's gonna be part of it. When you come in, there'll be a parking lot, and then that'll be the building. There'll be the building, and then they'll all funnel back into one of the other runways right now. And so we'll still be able to go out there and do have activities, but you'll come in and you won't come all the way in and go to, like we do now, it'll be changed. And that grant, go back a minute, thank you. Environmentals have been approved in green lining. It's for an FAA grant cycle, and it takes them forever, but especially at the airport. But we received 30% review comments, meeting with the FAA as well. And ADOT has approved the design engineering awaiting the FAA final approval. So once they get the final approval, they'll keep moving forward with this, and hopefully we'll get the grant. I'm sure it's a multi-million-dollar one. We've received a number of multi-million-dollar grants out here. As a matter of fact, there's the approach lighting that got put in there for nighttime, so people know where how to line at the airport instead of somebody's cows out there. And the flyings are still going to happen. The next one will be next flying will be October 2025. The last one they had over 230 plates there, and everybody lived, and it's a good thing. We have a lot of people that visit them. You never know what's going to happen out there. There's usually a lot more motorcycles than there is airplanes, but they like to ride out there, so that's good. They eat breakfast. Arizona Water Company installed a 200,000 gallon water storage tank. It's going to provide for the future growth and meet the fire flow requirements that the large hangar facilities require. I think a lot of them are going to require sprinkler systems, and if you don't have the water pressure or the water to push it through, you nuisance put the system in. That's why the ones out there already don't have those systems, because there's not enough water pressure. So Arizona Water came in and put that tank in, and there's the outlet, but there's a lot of other things around there that they installed too to help us out there at the airport. Moving to Public Works, you can see that this is the truck that we turned into a dump truck. It was something else. And in 2002, we did 6.2 miles, 17.2 miles in 2023, and 2024, 16.5 miles. And that's, new roads and double chipping and asphalting and everything combined. So our Public Works guys are, like everybody else, they're really busy too. Here we have the long-range planning. It's a critical component of the city's budgetary strategy. Future initiatives, including the completion of the paving on Woodruff Road and Coolidge Avenue, as well as the widening of Vaca Inn and citywide pavement treatments, are currently in development and require several years of planning. Now, I took the trouble, like, I could never, when I look at that, you could never see what's what on that thing. The colors. Alright, here we go. The yellow is what will be done in 2024, 2025. Turquoise, 25, 26. magenta 26, 27, and blue 27, 28. So you can see that Ben and his crew have got that, all their work planned out for them for the next few years. But that's, that's good. At least they know what they're going to do, and we can get in the process of putting in for grants and things of that nature on anything that's going to be a real big project where we need help financially with it. Well, there's the Skousen Road in 87 signal, which took us forever to get. I probably made as much noise about that as my amigo mayor over there made about, White 910. When you can't get ADOT to do what you want them to do, you got to make noise. And it took forever, and it took help from Gila River, Governor Lewis, to get them to do it, and they finally did. So I think it's going to improve the safety out there. And there's a turn lane in there now, so I think it's going to be a lot better. So we've got that one, and now we're moving on to some ones that I don't know where it's going to go with Martin Road, but we're looking at that one right now, Martin Road and the Boulevard. Liquid Waste Department consistently oversees 14 lift stations, conducting weekly inspections and biannual deep cleanings, and is actively working towards increasing capacity to 3 million gallons per day. And that's a job because one of those manholes, let me see, an ongoing annual inspection and analysis program covering 85 miles of sewer line and 1,465 manholes within the city. The Liquid Waste Department has successfully identified and resolved underlying issues before they escalate into significant problems. And they have, and they found a company that loves going into manholes as much as they do. And so we've got somebody to help us out on that, so we can get after those manholes before they cave in any worse than what they are and put them back together. Solid Waste Department continues to offer monthly bulk disposal service at the yard for all citizens with active trash accounts. Our solid waste team continues to address illegal dumping throughout the city and is pleased with the outcomes of the 4th annual dump day for Coolidge residents, during which we served 330 vehicles and collected over 440 cubic yards of trash. I think that, but you opened at 7, or you did? You opened up at 7?
We opened up at 7 and closed at noon.
So they had 330 vehicles pass through there. They got 440 cubic yards of trash in that many hours. And I'm guilty, I took some stuff over there too. But I want to say they were working, man. They were really getting after it. There were a lot of the public works guys were over there, and they were really going after it. So thank them. City of Coolidge has successfully secured multiple grants in the amount of $9,114,627 with the assistance of various partners. ADOT, the Safe Routes to School Study, the ESPN funding, and the OSB Selma Highway Bridge replacement. I think that is coming up. This is coming year, isn't it? The Selma Highway Bridge?
We're starting the engineering now. Construction is slated to be started in 27.
Okay. I know it was pretty soon. The Erica Railroad Crossing. I'll address the Erica Railroad Crossing a little later in this, because that entails other people other than us. So the GRIC, Gila River, gave us electronic message boards, which is automated flaggers. And at first I didn't think that was a big deal, but we were sitting somewhere the other day, and people come up, they ask me, and I tell them, talk to Ben about that. They don't know what they are, and they don't know where they came from, but they sure like them. They warn them so they can turn off before they get into a traffic problem, and they tell them when things are happening, when you have a garbage dump day or any city activity. So he sets them out there, and that really helps. And our citizens really like that. You don't get somebody getting on social media in one of the chat rooms and giving a bunch of false information, so everybody shows up and then it's somebody else's fault, but we get blamed. So, but as you look at these, see, Gila River paid for those boards, Hot Chin paid for city buildings, the Hohenholm spray injection patcher, which we use on the roads, and the congressional funding. The Coolidge Avenue reconstruction was $5,300,000, and that helped us finish Coolidge off, and that was Holloran and Teresa Martinez and David Cook, representatives. Holloran was the guy who didn't make it back for the election. Solid Waste, the city expresses its gratitude to Marielle Mohan on the Arizona Murals for the outstanding mural work on the South Welcome to Coolidge sign. The sign will feature solar lighting for enhanced visibility at night. The guy did it for free. We offered to pay him, and he said no thanks. So, and it's pretty nice. It's a lot better than what was there, and it's pretty nice. He does good work. So, this one here, received the text, this text.gov. I don't know how many other cities are using it, but we ran across it a while back. And I went and talked to Ben about it. Of course, it was my idea, so it was a bad idea. But then he had the idea of doing it, and went to the city manager, and guess what? We're doing it. And it pays off, because there's a lot of things going on with it, because they can notify you just about anything on there. And they do. We get those all the time. And there's another thing that quells rumors, bad statements on social media. They all want to know if there's a wreck, something happened. If we put something out after we know basic facts, that just takes away from, that kills all those guys on the social media. They get off. So it's real helpful though. It helps all of us at the city. I think it's good to have that. I really do. There's a lot of things I think we can do away with. That's not one of them. And our Cotton Express cart, our ridership, Cotton Express, 11,247 trips, and cart was 8,950 trips. So combined, we had 28,540 trips. That's a lot of trips. But we're doing a lot of bus service here. And we're looking to maybe expand. We've had some conversations with one of the supervisors in particular about extending our route to a different area. In all likelihood, we may end up helping you out with going down there one of these days. That makes the most sense, and we have a study going on that is probably going to indicate that makes the most sense. So this is our building stats. You can see in 2024, we ended up with 64 million total valuation. Well, already in 2025, we're at 239 million. And you can see that the permits are nowhere close. So I don't know what those guys are doing, but that's a big deal. I do know what they're doing. Our building permits continue to grow with the new homes leading the way. We're still poised for growth, but the last paragraph is where the difference is in money. Along with the housing demand for solar and battery storage is leading in 2025. And the reason that is because in 2018, we include some solar and battery storage places, and they may be one and the same. But one, I've got the names written down here, but they just now started working on it, or at least they came into pay. And so that's why you see the giant increase. There's a lot of revenue involved in that apparently we're going to need this budget session. So that's where a lot of it came from. But we are having some pretty good. Our housing permits are up considerably from where they were last year already. And so I don't know about the other permits, but I know the housing are doing well. but we're almost halfway there now. And we're only, 4 months into the quarter into the year, so we should be okay this year, I hope. Coolidge continues to be an affordable place to call home. Average prices are lower than most of the region. You can see good old Maricopa, they're at $353,000 for rate, standard affordable housing. Florence is at $341, Castellan's at $321, and we're at $280. So why the heck would you move over any of those places? You can get a lot better house here, or the same house here for less money, or a lot of upgrades here. So, I know that, now that Mayor McFarland is the guy with the Canal Association, he's rooting for all of those. But I don't see, Queen Creek would have really been an interesting one to put up there because we all would have been trailing them. So, but that just goes to show you what our markets are like. And it wasn't that many years ago, it would have been 153 and 140, or 100,041 and 100,021, but it didn't take long for it to get up there. So, new home development continues in Coolidge with an assortment of homes available. KB's is still building at Hartman Ranch. And Gotcha Crossing is going to come on in phase, but they haven't decided who's going to build for them. Gateway Manor is another one that we'll talk about. That's Sundance 3. We'll talk about that. And Oakwood, they have Century 21 building for them. This is it. Sundance 3 is a new construction. For those of you who are familiar with Coolidge, this is at the end of Orlando Drive or Palm Lane. There's about 38 lots out there at the end. You have the railroad tracks bordering on one side, and the other side is subdivision. So, Gateway Manor is another one of our big builders right now. They're really getting after it out there. Let me see. Go ahead. There's our general plan. We followed the general plan as well as best as we can. And I reviewed the one we did 10 years ago. And surprisingly enough, we actually did what we said we were going to do, which is surprising. I mean, because a lot of things happen in government. You don't have the funding, or there's a lot of things that can go wrong. They can find an owl where you're supposed to build a big development, and then you come, a pottery, you name it, anything can happen. So, but when it came to the things that we decided that we wanted to do 10 years ago, and the things that we got accomplished, we accomplished quite a few of them. The development in Coolidge, some places get a lot of them, but we don't. So that Wendy's is a pretty good deal for us. And they were one of the easiest organizations to work with. I mean, you didn't even know they were coming until they were just in the building. And boom, there you go. And they're gonna keep on going, I'm sure. They're doing very well right now. Regional Park, discussed that. That's about the portion of the red is a 5.8 acre parcel. It's been cleared off. Like I said, it's up for bid right now. April 28th is bids are due. And so we'll see who bids on it, if anybody. The rest of the park will be, we're doing it in phases because it's going to cost way too much to do it all at once. But the first phase, let's see some of the first phase there. And it's going to be a dog park and maybe a gym, outdoor gym, a few other things, and maybe pickleball courts, things of that nature. Walmart, for those of you who've been around a while, remember when they had a few pumps over there? Well, they're coming back. Hallmark's gonna do another gas station over there in the same place. I don't know if it's gonna be the same or different when it comes to getting out and buying gas, but it looks like they've got a little office there, so they must be gonna take the money right there. So, but yeah, they're on top of it. We got plans from them, and they're working on it right now. I saw them set up a fence. I think it was last week they were setting up their construction yard out there. So they're coming. Cabot, I'm glad Cabot's here. I'm glad a lot of the other cities didn't want them. And we're always going to be grateful there for that because here they are. And now they're expanding again. This one is going to include they have 219 students at Cabot. And what they're going to do now is a $4.9 million valuation. And they did expand because they've got too many students and they're adding programs. And so they don't have any place to put them. So, they're going to have a power sports lab and classrooms and a construction lab. And I guess teach people how to do construction trades out there too. I'm sure they'll be doing it in conjunction with CAC because they do a lot of things with CAC. So, years ago when they came here, they've just done nothing but move forward. And they've done a great job. So we're really happy they're here. We got a new doctor's office, Desert Sonita, is at Safeway Plaza. They're full service. They have a policy of they don't go home until everybody's out of there. So if you go in 10 to 5 and you're sick, you're going to get seen. You're not going to leave. So that's the deal with them. They're going to be putting a pharmacy down by the Chevron, just down from the Catholic Church. It'll be west of the Catholic Church. On the boulevard, there's a brick building there. Those of you remember, it used to be a computer store. Well, they're going to be building a pharmacy there too. And it's going to have the way that Dr. Dan explained it to me was, it's going to have a fountain in there, like old time, well, none of you guys don't remember. I don't like Tokyo, because he's old too. Old time bar, like an ice cream bar, so if you're waiting on your medicine, you want to have an ice cream soda or something, you can sit down and have ice cream soda. So that's moving forward. So that's going well. There's some of our new businesses. As you can see, we show up at on Century Complete is building in a couple of sites here in Coolidge. 24/7 Fitness came in, Bad Aces and Martial Arts down there, kind of by Verizon in that area, and now Hispanic Console. That's a whole new story, but I hope they get that fixed. That had a lot to do with the fire marshal, state fire marshal, which nobody has anymore. They sent us a letter and told us no more, get your own. So that's what we're doing. But that's part of the problem that happened over there at Hispanic. Said Desert Sonita, Orsted, Canal, Geology, which we just open, I guess. American Legions adding on some coverage out front and doing other things. They're going to make a little patio thing. Arizona Water constructed the offices and moved into offices off of the old 4th grade school off of the boulevard. So ABC and 123 Small Blessing Center is something that we could really use with a bunch of new younger citizens in town. And one of the major places that handle small children is already where they're building. So that's kind of what happens. So these guys grew up here that are doing this, ABC 123 Small Blessings. They lived across the street, they played in that field. Although part of that was a rundown old apartment complex. But they said they would do something with it one day, and there they are. Their contractor told us all while we were out there it would be 8 to 12 months. Now they're going. On that, still waiting. The last thing I saw was they're still waiting on somebody to figure out what's going on with water. The city's done everything it can do, so it's between the contractor, the person that hires a contractor, and Arizona Water Company. So, industrial park companies, these companies together employ dozens of workers and many like Bright served Coolidge for many years. So, right now, as of yesterday, had 165 total employees. That's one of the places that we've neglected to mention over the years, but it's one of the places that, well, typically if you can't find a job, they go work at Bright until something better comes along, and some of them leave and some of them don't. But Bright's there, and Bright's done a good job. It expanded a couple of times, and that's always been good for our revenue with the city. So Bright, they make hair dye, which I don't need, but some of you do. Maybe Rosales could use some. Let's see. Some of the other places out there are related to, well, there's the one on the top right. I think that's where they sell the pot. I've never been there. I'd have to ask Gilbert or somebody about that. And the other one is big. They have a big factory out there that cultivates, well, they do a little bit of that. They make gummies and all that kind of stuff. And they employ a lot of people. And actually, they play very well. So. Cool. Okay. We don't run around like toot our horn or anything, but we do occasionally people notice what we get done. And so we were named one of the best paid cities in Arizona for 2024. And this outfit here, according to the Marvelous Quarter of Business Publications, they did a really nice article about Coolidge. And so that was real nice of them. We have 2 new code enforcement officers who are they're getting after it. They both have a lot of experience. One was in law enforcement, or both of them kind of in branches of law enforcement. And they've really changed things around. I mean, they're really doing a lot. So you'll see some different places. Well, there's one there. And when you drive around some of these places, they need to be cleaned up, and we didn't have enough personnel to get to everything. So now they're getting to it, and they're surprising everybody. So, but most people are complying, so that's good. New subdivisions can be approved in Coolidge without first providing the water, and can be provided to those homes for 100 years. Well, the planned development with water certification that we have are those up there. And you can see there's 8,100 lots, a few more than that, but 8,100 lots that have water. We also have Sandia, which is for you that weren't around 20 years ago. It was a project that was out by CAC, just the east of CAC, almost abutting it. And they were going to be like Anthem. And Anthem came out of the ground and Sandia didn't. So that's why Anthem's where it is, and that's still vacant land down there. And, they've been coming around talking, but they come around and talk 3 or 4 years ago and talk about something that they don't even have. So. But Sandia has, I don't know, I would be able to say 15,000 lots, but I've really got more than that. I think it depends on if they're going to keep the golf course in and what they're going to do. They also, I think, have a lake plan for that, and I don't think they do the lake. So, but, we've still got quite a few lots that have water, 100-year certificate. We'll talk about community partners for a little while, and I know I'm running over that. Same Holdings has been with us since almost, the beginning. At the end of the floor, they came in and they bought the land, and they took a chance and came to Coolidge, and took a swing with Nicola, and how that ended up, but now Lucy's there. So we'll see how that goes. I think it'll be fine. Got something here from Lucy that I want to read in a minute. But State's been very good. We work together very well. They also have a big part in bringing Procter & Gamble in. They're right now working on the railroad. Procter & Gamble, it's taken a long time, but part of the reason is they're working on the railroad out there. They want to do a lot of it by rail. And so Saint and Procter & Gamble are working together to get the package to the people that are going to get it to Union Pacific. And they'll take a look and see what they think about it. But it takes a long time to put these things together, especially when you're dealing with Union Pacific. So we'll see how it goes. But they've done a lot. Arizona Water Company is another one that's done a lot for us. Under the leadership of Fred Schneider, Arizona Water's helped repaint the water tower, donated much needed dirt to close our landfill, and provided water conservation programs for our youth. That's the one where they take, I think it's the third and fourth graders over to the old fourth grade school. And they have a water education, like fair, and they teach them about conserving water, which is probably a good idea. And so that new open treatment plant in the Harvard subdivision is going to help with the water over there in that area. It's going to blend water of 2 wells, so they will come out with perfectly safe water. Global Water has our water from from Obama down south, and then down towards Casagrande. They will follow the global water system. They've been an excellent partner. They're providing water services in Nicola, which will now be Lucid. And in Port, they're a provider of the water and wastewater services to IPAS. Arizona Commerce Authority, we don't mention them very often, but they've been a great partner in helping us land like Procter & Gamble. And they were involved with Nicola. There's a lot of them that they bring here that they'll bring them, maybe to us or maybe to Casagrande, but if that, they'll take them to West Valley. And so none of us will get a shot at them over here. So they've been pretty good with us. Canal County's been an excellent partner when it comes to roads and the inland port. They've partnered with us. As a matter of fact, they put their name on the big grant that we got. They got some roads done and we got some intersections done where there's lights, traffic lights. Don't think it's not where we're going to sit there. But it will help. There's going to be a lot of traffic down there. There's already a lot of traffic when the shift change. And when they get, when these factories get going, well, Lucid's going to be going. When they get them going, you can still have more traffic, so you can need those lights. They're saying, presenting a $7,500 check for Coolidge Schools reading program administered by AARP. And that guy on the left side, AARP's representative, that's our own city manager of the program. Florence Copper. Florence Copper is always there, they're always willing to help. They've done a lot of good things for Coolidge, so we're glad that we had a chance to mention them here. They've helped out the food bank, Father Anthony, and they've done a lot of places at PLA. They do a lot of things for a lot of different organizations, so they're a good outfit. Coolidge Unified Schools, they've got 2,900 students among all their schools. So when you look at that and you look at Imagine's numbers with their elementary and their middle school and their high school, we have a little over 4,000 students in Coolidge schools. And a lot of the people that I talk to, I shouldn't probably bring it up, but a lot of people are homeschooling their kids. But their kids still get to come and play sports. Whatever sport it is, the schools, they want to. So, we're not seeing them maybe in the classroom as much, but we are seeing them in the fields, and we're definitely seeing in the recreation department. There's just many, many more kids coming to play, to swim, or play soccer, or Pee Wee football or whatever we've got going on. We just got way too many kids, and we don't have enough employees or volunteers to help. Sometimes we can't get enough teams. We got kids, but we don't have enough coaches. So, Coolidge Chamber, well, here we are. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Lynn. It twisted my arm. But she says this is a good thing, and I guess it is, or you guys wouldn't be here to find out what's going on in Coolidge. They have great retention programs. They work with Arizona at Work, CDEC, which is Economic Development Committee, and Marketing and Tourism. She's very active. She's everywhere. I mean, you go somewhere and there she is. So the chamber, very good chamber. I've had the pleasure of seeing some of the others around, and we do have a very good chamber. This is the old thing I was telling you about, Text My Gov. This is the one where you can get alerts, Coolidge, if you're interested. And you know, it comes in handy. If there's a wreck or something, we like to you know, they'll post it on there, so you can know what's going on. Okay, before I read down, I read this. This probably would have been the big question, but most of you read the paper. But as you know, on Thursday, April 11th, Lucid acquired the assets of Nikola Motors as part of the bankruptcy prescribed by public auction. Assets included the Coolidge manufacturing facility, corresponding equipment, and the Phoenix corporate offices. Nikola asset sale does not include the rights to the intellectual property. Lucid will work diligently to rehire the impacted 300 plus Nikola employees as Lucid employees. And Mr. Cruz mentioned from Lucid today, mentioned they've already hired 75 back. Lucid will begin the process to update the old Nikola factory to include the new signage and outfit the facility to accommodate Lucid powertrain and logistics operation at the Coolidge plant. And this is a quote from Michael Cruz, who works for Lucid. Lucid is thankful for the warm welcome by the City of Coolidge, Mayor Thompson, Council, and community residents. We're excited to expand our operations in the city and rehire over 300 former Nikola employees impacted by the bankruptcy. We intend to utilize the facility to support our powertrain and logistics operations to accommodate our growth in the state. Thank you, Sid, and thank you, Michael, for providing that for us. The road ahead. We'll continue to work with businesses to help attract quality businesses, jobs, and services to our residents. We'll remain attractive to home builders and developers who are building affordable housing with multifamily products. Affordable housing, I'm sorry, I don't know how some of those prices are affordable, but I guess that's why you're supposed to make smaller houses, but you still pay a ton of money for that per square foot. So they can't afford those either. Parks and Rec Department have expanded to accommodate growth, which they really are. They're going to need more help over there. Our roads will continue to be a focus of attention as we reconstruct and maintain more than 40 miles of roads. We're going to have a lot of roads that will still be working on. So the only other thing I would add is, during this time of the year, most of the mayors that I know spend more time trying to stop the state legislature from doing damage to their communities by taking away revenue or trying to regulate zoning or what type of housing you can have and your setbacks and those type of things. That's where a lot of people, whether they're there at the legislature or not, are writing letters, emailing, and calling. I don't know why. I always wonder what, it must not have enough to do if they want to pick on the states and towns every year and try and take their revenue. So you as taxpayers need to know that's how they're spending a lot of their time. And if things happen where revenue gets raised by the city, it's generally not the city. We're trying to recover from what they did to us. And we've held off. You'll see, like our wastewater rates, I think it's 2008, 2009, the last time we raised them. Well, with the money we're losing 800, well, if Santan incorporates, that's 800,000 right off the bat. The property tax, that was between 8 and 500,000. The flat tax is going to cost us $1 million. I mean, I can go down the line. And we need more and more police, we need more and more fire. We need more rec people. And when you build fields, you need somebody to take care of it. So you've got to have workers all over the place. So more traffic, everybody's involved in this. But we spend a lot of our time fighting our own guys up at the state legislature who are trying to take money away from us and trying to tell us how to do everything. So please pay attention. If we're doing something wrong here, you can always find me. I'm not hard to find. But you can't find too many of them right now at the state legislature, I can tell you that. Because I tried. So thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. And have a good rest of your day.